What's going on, guys? In the works, and yes, I know it has been a while, but I actually have a pretty good excuse this time. It wasn't just me being lazy. I've actually been out traveling the world, seeing the sights, aka I went to PAX this past week. So that was part of the reasons why my video production slowed to a grinding halt. And I really meant to make a video talking about PAX, talking about me going there, but I just got so busy leading up to it with work and just getting ready to go on a 4-day vacation. It tends to be really stressful for me that I just didn't have time to do it. But I did get to play Battlefield 4 at PAX, so if you follow me on Twitter, you've probably already seen this. I actually got to play a pretty early build of Battlefield 4. Now, the first time we played it, I was there with Mantis and Dascro. The first time we played it was particularly underwhelming. It was not that great because it is an older build, similar to the build you saw at E3. It meant that some of the gun unlocks and there was a lot of restrictions, so you basically just had 4 classes to choose from. Each of them had their default weapon, and there wasn't much leverage you could do from changing up the weapons. It was pretty much what you see is what you get. And it was kind of disappointing. However, the second time I played it, it was a little bit better because the first time we stood in line, they were having some issues with their quote Xbox Ones, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the video because it was on Xbox One, so Jake did have to use the controller, but that's okay because you guys know that I have played on Xbox before, so it wasn't that bad. I wasn't a complete fish out of water. But the first time we played, some of the Xbox Ones weren't working. So they only had, I think it was like 5v5. And you're probably like, wow, that's pretty bad. And considering that it was on Siege of Shanghai, 5v5 means that you're not really going to see people very often. So it was a pretty limited experience. However, I did get some really awesome tank gameplay. Unfortunately, they would not let us record it because it was not DICE that was hosting the event. It was the Xbox One guys. So they were not down with letting us record footage just because they don't want us to see early builds of Xbox One games or whatever the excuse was. But the first time I played it wasn't that cool. But one of the times I went back by myself because I was like, okay, I got to go back and give it another chance. I stood in line, and it was a little bit quicker because Sunday lines were a little bit smaller. I think I was only in line like 30 minutes, and I got to play it. And it was a full, 12v12 match or however many they had set up. And it was a lot better. The only problem I had is in the particular build I played, they did not have any sort of anti-tank rounds, which is a huge oversight because you didn't have RPGs, you didn't have claymores or, C4 or anything like that, so you couldn't damage vehicles. And that's a pretty big deal because once you get into the tank, there's no getting out of it. So I actually had a really awesome run in the tank in the first round where I had Mantis as my gunner. I think I got 3 or 4 kills in that, which, you're like 3 or 4 kills, that's pretty bad. That's not many kills at all. But when you're playing, 5v5, that's a lot of kills, guys, considering that seeing people is few and far between. So that was one of the disappointing things about it. But overall, PAX was a really awesome time. And even though that build was a little bit older, it was fun to know that you are actually playing Battlefield 4. So that was one of the cool things about it. And I did mention the Xbox Ones. The Xbox Ones were actually PCs. It's funny, whenever they would open up the cabinets where the game console was supposedly at, I actually got a little bit of footage that I decided that it probably wouldn't be a bright idea to show it, but basically it said DICE computer number 32 on it. And they were running Xbox One games on a bare bones PC build. So, this Xbox One that we were basically playing on was actually just a makeshift PC. So it was a dev kit, which I thought was kind of funny because, they're sitting here touting the Xbox One, and in reality it was just a PC. So I found that kind of amusing. And Titanfall, that was another game a lot of you guys had been asking me about on Twitter. I personally didn't get to play Titanfall, and it was pretty disappointing. I know Dascro played it, and he really enjoyed it. He said it ran really smooth, that he thinks it's going to be an awesome game. But I got to watch probably the better part of like an hour and a half of Titanfall people playing. I mean, the Battlefield 4 line was right next to Titanfall, so we got to see them playing it throughout the entire length of the line we were standing in. So I definitely got a good idea of how that game's going to work. I think you guys should all be excited for it because I know I am. And this guy's going to get smushed. I actually called that out. I was like, I'm going to kill that guy. I'm going to run him over. But I did have a lot of fun. Me being a Nintendo fan, I did check out a lot of Nintendo stuff. I took a lot of pictures of Nintendo stuff. I know you guys probably don't care about that stuff, but it was a really fun time. It was actually one of the better PAXs I've been to. It was my 3rd one so far, and I love the city of Seattle. I really wish they would have had the Battlefield 4 tournament like they did with Battlefield 3 though on the PC. Because when I went in 2011, when Battlefield 3 was still brand new, they hadn't actually released it yet. They actually did a PC tournament for that game. And it was a lot of fun because that's where I learned a lot of the early stuff about the game before it actually released. So a little bit bummed that they didn't do that, but I kind of understand it because there's a lot of footage out there right now. I don't think we have any sort of shortage for Battlefield 4 footage or info, and that's kind of why I've toned back videos a little bit. I've just, me being a purist when it comes to making videos, I want to make sure I'm making videos that actually contribute something to the greater cause and aren't just, filler videos. And I think that's what a lot of Battlefield 4 information videos tend to be. It's like they take the smallest topic and they extrapolate it to the 100th degree and they make a really exciting video about it that doesn't really say much of anything. And I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to lay low until Battlefield 4 beta comes out, which is going to be very, very soon, guys. It's like, less than 30 days away? I mean, that's quick. I mean, we're going to be playing Battlefield 4 before a lot of you guys realize it. And that's super cool. I'm pretty excited about that. But back to PAX, one of the cool games that I did want to talk about with you guys that I got a chance to play was Extraction. And you're probably like, well, what's Extraction? Well, it's kind of like this class-based shooter, which looks a lot like the Source engine. And it was a lot of fun. It was, typically when I play a new FPS, I'm like, oh, this is boring, been there, done that. But this is one of the few alpha FPSs I've ever played that ran as smooth as it did. So I'm actually really excited for that. So keep an eye out for that. I'll probably be posting that at some point because they are going to be releasing the beta soon. They gave us some beta codes and hopefully they'll let us post it on the channel. I don't know. I don't know if they'll restrict anything like that, but Extraction I think is going to be a fun game. So if you're a PC player, keep your eye out for that game. I think it's going to be on Steam as well. So overall, PAX was a good time. I am back. I'm ready to get back on the horse to start streaming. I promise you this time. I talk about it a lot. So if you don't follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitch because I am going to start streaming again. We're going to have plenty of content moving forward. I'm going to try to get out 3 or 4 videos a week as a general rule. Battlefield 4 beta is coming up, so I'm going to be doing ton of stuff with that too. Because you got to figure that Battlefield channel is going to post Battlefield. But I know a lot of you guys are asking me where I've been, but hopefully this clears it up. I am back, and this time it is for sure. Like I said, I got a little bit busy with work leading up to PAX, and I had PAX. So go check out my Twitter and Facebook too if you want kind of a short recap, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.